let's go to the front of The Age, and this is a confronting story, an exclusive here by Noel Towle, Rob Harris and Benjamin Priest. Convention Centre set for hospital and morgue. The Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre could become a massive makeshift intensive care hospital, treating hundreds of seriously ill coronavirus patients under a plan being considered by the state government. Government and industry sources with knowledge of the plans told The Age that preparations were also underway to use part of the Riverside landmark as a temporary morgue to store what is feared could be a large number of bodies of victims of the pandemic. Now, Matt, we've seen the very raw language by Premier Daniel Andrews in recent hours. In fact, sort of in the last 24 hours, he really has ramped up his messaging. And I think, you know, yesterday he made the analogy that at the moment we're seeing queues outside Centrelink offices. If we don't get our act together and do the right thing and make sure that the social isolation and doing the right thing is adhered to, we'll be seeing those sorts of queues outside ICU units at hospitals. So here's an example where they are really preparing for the worst and hoping for the best.
And when you hear Dan Andrews make those sort of comments, you've got to think to yourself, what is the advice he's getting from the medical experts? And you have to say that it's got to be pretty frank, it's got to be pretty fearless, and it's got to be pretty bloody scary. I mean, Brett Sutton, the Chief Health Officer in Victoria, has certainly been the most forthright when it comes to putting forward his views about how serious this situation is and about how much should be done. A story like that on the front page of The Age really does bring that home. I mean, we've seen the stories that are coming out of Italy and Spain, you know, where ice hockey rinks and other sort of facilities like that are being turned into makeshift morgues, places where, you know, 600-700 people a day have been dying from the coronavirus. And you know, what is really scary is that if you look at that curve, you look at how it happened over there in Italy, and you look at how it's beginning to shape here, in many ways what we've seen over there in Europe could be a practice run of what we're about to be hit home with here. I think that's why you're hearing Daniel Andrews be so gung-ho about the need for people to do the right thing, for people to self-isolate and to push, of course, for those tougher lockdown measures that I'm expecting now we will see possibly within days.